I know they spoke both about lumber prices, also the payoff on these strategic investments they've made, perhaps not coming quite as quickly as they thought. What's your take?
Yeah, thanks for having me. As it relates to the quarter, I think it was a decent quarter, just not quite as strong as expected. The primary shortfall was on delayed benefits from strategic investments, as you mentioned, and those should come through over the next few quarters. We're still talking about a company that's growing sales nicely and that is gaining share in the marketplace. So I think Home Depot is pretty well positioned.
Jonathan, your take?
Yeah, I think comparable store sales were a little bit lighter, but we're still believers that Home Depot is a core long-term holding here. You know, we see initiatives to grow EPS growth ahead, like the B2B site for pros, as well as tool rental and everything they're doing in delivery. And also margins came in line with expectations. So, you know, we believe that the backdrop is still favorable for these guys.
What would give you pause? I mean, they did obviously sell a bit less than had anticipated during the course of the quarter, Jonathan. Is there anything that would give you pause? You heard nothing on the call to do so?
You know, what would give me pause is if we were seeing a drop-off in terms of big-ticket spending, and we saw a really nice acceleration there. You know, big ticket was up 4.8%, up 5.5%. Excluding the impact from hurricanes. So, you know, we feel good about that. Big ticket spend is obviously important for the pro customer. So, you know, we're pleased there. I think what's going to be key to monitor going forward is getting some of these pros enrolled in the B2B website. Seems like Home Depot needs to unwind some of its legacy IT systems there. But, you know, I think those benefits should spill over into the next quarter and early 2020.
Hey, Seth, looking within the quarter at the comps, they went from 4.1 in August to 3.7 in September to 3.1 in October. Is that intra-quarter deceleration common?
It's not uncommon, but in this case, there was a calendar shift that impacted their October comps by about 100 basis points because they shifted a week from this year versus last year. So on an adjusted basis, we didn't really see much of a deceleration. And in fact, if we think about the exit rate for the quarter, we're really around 5%, which is pretty much what they're guiding to for the fourth quarter. So we're not too concerned about that.
Lowe's reports tomorrow morning. I'm just curious, what's Home Depot's competitive advantage in terms of driving foot traffic? Jonathan.
Yeah, you know, I'd say obviously they do have a better grip of the pro here. They have around 45% of their sales coming from pro customers. Lowe's is closer to 20 to 25%, although they have been making, you know, headway there. So I'd say Home Depot's advantage is really with the pro and everything they've been doing in the omni-commerce framework, right? I mean, on the call, we just heard about traffic up in the digital channel as well as conversion better. So obviously, Lowe's has some issues there historically. They are making investments there. You know, we feel comfortable with our comp estimate for Lowe's tomorrow at around 3%. I think that captures some of the deflationary lumber pressures, you know, offset by maybe some headway they're making with the pro.
Seth, our retail correspondent, Courtney Reagan, was telling us that last year Black Friday was a record breaker for Home Depot. Why is that such a big holiday for a home store?
Yeah, probably in each of the last 3 years, we've seen record-breaking Black Friday sales for Home Depot. They continue to get better and better at merchandising and marketing the Black Friday period. So what are they doing? They're offering things like power tools at very cut-rate prices. They are driving traffic to the stores with events centered around specific items. And they're starting the Black Friday sales earlier and earlier. We've already seen them kick those off, and we think that it's going to continue to benefit them. So home improvement has become a bigger category for Black Friday than it has, say, 10 years ago.
Mom of twin boys, soon I'll tell you, they offer these kid seminars the beginning of every month. To me, it just looks like early branding. How important is it for them to be building these younger and younger audiences, Jonathan? Consumer base.
I mean, you know, I would say millennials account for around 20% of Home Depot's customer base, and they've been leaning in heavily there. You know, I think they've done a lot of focus groups, and their learnings from that generation have really guided some of their store refreshes, some of their website redesigns, their mobile app, et cetera. And I think as they appeal to that millennial customer, that's going to be important, especially as household formation ticks up. we're seeing from our work around residential construction more building permits outside of city centers. So I think that's going to help with the affordability equation and make homes more affordable for millennials. So I think they're doing great things there.